Yo, whoa, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive, bringing you guys a brand new video today, and today we're going to be covering the best settings for Pokemon Unite Mobile, a guide to help you guys get set up for the mobile version of Pokemon Unite. I've got it all set up on my phone. It dropped on the 22nd, the day this video is coming out, and for those who don't know, I'm a top 500 player on the Nintendo Switch, and I'm excited to play the mobile version as well. I've been playing competitively, and I play every single day on twitch.tv/aDrive. So if you're looking to watch some gameplay, I'm gonna be learning the mobile version myself, but I've got a really cool guide for you guys, again, breaking down all the settings. So be sure to hit that like button down below, and make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as I do post Pokemon videos every single day, and you'll see a ton of Pokemon Unite content here. So if you're looking for news updates, guides, and much more, definitely be sure to show some love. And one of the things I'm excited about with mobile is it actually gives a pretty big advantage for various characters because of placement and things like that. So without further ado, they changed the entire UI menu. So you're going to click the top left button, your character icon up there. You're going to scroll down and you're going to go to settings, and your settings are going to be where we're going to get things started. So let's talk about each setting, and we'll go over why you want to have different things. So the first thing is graphics quality. I have mine set to highest, but you can honestly depend on your phone. Depending on your phone, you can put it on low, medium, high. The biggest thing is you don't want to sacrifice gameplay, right? A lot of times in high graphical intensive games, you want to have low settings because, again, you don't want to have any chances of lagging. I'm going to keep mine on highest until I see any performance issues. I have a pretty new iPhone, but if you have an older phone, maybe you'll want to turn that down. Otherwise, frame rate, you want to keep it the highest because you want to have that 60 FPS. Everything else here is pretty straightforward, whether you want vibrate on, things like that, whether you want colorblind support that just changes some of the colors. Other than that, this page is all pretty straightforward, so nothing really to mention here in terms of what settings you want outside of graphics quality and frame rate. The real stuff comes from controls. So here's what we're going to be starting with, and this is opponent lock-on priority. So I actually have mine set to lowest remaining HP value. You can see that this is going to explain it. There's a little explanation button there, but basically I like it as value as opposed to percentage. You could have a Pokemon, let's take a Pokemon like Snorlax, which has a massive match of HP stat, and it could have 5% of its health left, but that numerical value is significantly higher than 5% of like a Greninja's HP, right? So I like to do it based on value as opposed to percentage, but that's really kind of a feeling kind of thing. I personally, like I said, like value though, because again, 5% of a Snorlax health is way more than 5% of a Greninja's health. So I want it going after the value. I want to attack the lowest value target personally, but again, that's one that you'll want to mess around with or get a feel for. Now here's where things are really important. This is something you really want to be paying attention to, is these attack controls. So we can actually pull up a little thing here. It should give me an option to pull it up. Maybe it's there. It is. So this shows you attack controls. It's gonna actually create a little tiny button on your screen right where I'm pressing, and that button is the difference of being able to attack a wild Pokemon specifically or an enemy Pokemon. So the big button will do both, but you want to have the smaller button there, so if you're just farming small objectives like Vespiquen or Apoms or Combees or any of that stuff, you want to hit the small button, and then when an enemy Pokemon comes and you want to hit them, you want to hit the big one. And this is incredibly important because there's many instances in the game where you're doing a team fight against a Dreadnought or a Zapdos or something like that, and you want to make sure that you're hitting the right target, right? Like if you're in a Zapdos pit and you're fighting for that final hit, you want to make sure you're hitting the enemy wild Pokemon button to hit that Zapdos last hit, as opposed to hitting the enemy team Pokemon button. So that's huge. You want to make sure you set this. If there's one setting you take from this video, it's that one for sure. Automatic basic attacks I have turned off. The reason why we turn this off is because automatic basic attacks will kind of take control of your Pokemon for you and kind of force you into a Pokemon. What we're trying to do with these settings is give you the full control and take away any kind of hand-holding that the game is going to provide for you, right? We don't want the game to force you in any directions. We don't want the game to force you to attack specific things. You want to have full control, and it may feel a little bit weird, but change these settings ASAP. That way you get used to them faster. I tell you what, when I changed mine, it took like an hour to get used to it. It wasn't even a big deal. So again, you want to have full control over your character. The lock-on icon is one that I had on the Switch launch. I have since taken it off because of the characters I play. I play Pokemon like Crustle, which don't need a lock-on icon. For mobile, I'm going to recommend that you actually turn it on because of the way the setting is. It allows you, so when there's multiple Pokemon in the field of view, it allows you to actually choose which of your targets you want to hit with that lock-on icon. So you click, in this situation, click Electroweb and just slide to Snorlax, or click Electroweb, slide to Lucario. It's much more intuitive on the mobile device, whereas on the Switch it was a wheel and you had to slide the joystick to it, and the accuracy there was very challenging to actually hit properly. So I would say have it on, but there are certain characters where it's not needed. Like I said, I play a character where I don't actually need it, so I have mine turned off. You've got the move aim settings here as well, which is a similar setting that allows you to just drag the icon over. So instead of having the lock, if you have the lock on icon on, then you have, so you're gonna want to have movement panel. You don't want to have icon. You want to be able to just drag it. So the lock on icon is a tap, whereas the move aim settings allows you to do it as a drag. So you want to have movement panel on. Then you've got in motion pursuit distance. I recommend having in motion pursuit off. You want to have this setting off because it's going to force your Pokemon to automatically approach and attack Pokemon outside of its range when you perform a basic attack. So again, you want to have full control over your Pokemon. You don't want the game forcing you in any sort of way. Another big one is the scoring controls. There's a button on the screen that you'll see to score. I recommend having press button as opposed to hold button down. Why? You want to just have freedom of being able to use your finger on other things, move the map around, things like that. If you have to hold that button down, it becomes a lot more complicated. I know it feels really epic when you're pressing that button down to score, but you really want to just press instead of hold. Now you've got move canceling controls, and I recommend actually having slide to icon, which is the default. You'll see when you're actually in game, when you have slide to icon, there's a little icon at the very top. You slide right to that. Slide away can be a little tricky because it actually kind of sets different distances in terms of how far you have to slide away. So I personally think that if you want to cancel something when you're pressing down, you want to just be able to slide to the same spot pretty much every single time. So I would recommend slide to icon. From there, you've got things like move panel sensitivity. You've got camera follows moves. So let's talk about some of this stuff. Move panel sensitivity is going to just be a feel thing based on how you want the different moves to feel about when you're dragging them and moving them around. I can tell you I was testing around with Crustl's Rock Tomb, and I'm definitely turning that setting down a little bit because it was like really, really fast, how fast you could throw out that Rock Tomb. So I'm going to be messing around with kind of some of those settings there, more of a feel thing. But I generally like to have the sensitivities on the higher end. I would definitely not turn them all the way down. I definitely recommend having them on the higher end just because you want to have that freedom to move around, especially when we get to kind of some of the sensitivity settings for the map. We've got camera follows moves for moves like Venusaur's Solar Beam and stuff. You want to be able to follow those moves so you can see kind of where they're going. So I recommend having that setting on. Move aim follows movement direction. You want to have that as well. It's very intuitive. You want to be able to, as you're moving towards a direction, that's the way you want to have your move attack. So in the case of like Crustl's X Scissor, I want to be able to throw my X Scissor where I'm facing, not have it go the other way. And on the Switch, this can be such a buggy thing because of the controllers. So I'm excited for that to be much more smooth on this. Move aim snaps to nearby target. Again, you don't want your aim snapping. You don't want to have your control of your character be taken by the game. You want to be controlling that 100% and make it a fluid experience. So I recommend having that setting off. Then you've got your camera movement. I recommend slide 100%. Slide allows you to just put your finger on the screen and just move it around. It's actually so incredibly intuitive. And then I've got my camera sensitivity set to about half, but that's something that you can again play with and kind of get a feel for. Ultimately, you just want to be comfortable with that. Now, when it comes to battles info, these are some important things you want to do. Boosted attack gauge actually shows you a little attack bar under your character, so you'll know when your boosted attack is coming. You definitely want to have that on. I actually have just turned on my decimal values for my cooldown, so you can see instead of it saying 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, when it gets to 1, it'll actually count down decimal values, and actually it counts down decimal values the entire time, so you know exactly how long you have until that attack. A couple of the other settings are just basic stuff. You show your trainer name and things like that. So I'm actually gonna hop into a match and I'll kind of show you guys a few of these little settings here. All right, so I'll be honest, I did not anticipate, yes, changing that setting on my Rock Tomb already was so much better, but I did not anticipate how smooth the mobile was going to be, and that's something that I'm really excited about. I mean, I'll be real, I have not really played any games like this on a mobile. I'm so used to a Switch controller, but I will say that this has been a lot simpler than I thought it was going to be in terms of getting used to. Seems like my game is lagging hardcore, but that's okay. That's more of my end anyway. So a couple of things that I want to mention. One is that you have the different attack icon that you can see. That allows you to attack enemy Pokemon as opposed to attacking wild Pokemon there. And then you've also got the map where you can actually just click on the map and drag it. Super duper clutch. A couple other things, being able to go into a goal and being able to score by just simply pressing the score like this. You just press the score button and then that kind of gives you the freedom. You can do things like this and kind of set up a stealth rock and kind of start attacking that way. So a couple of really good things there. I'm having some serious connection issues. I don't know why. That's probably just my Wi-Fi being weird again. I gotta kind of tweak some of my settings because I usually play wired connection. But either way, you can see it's actually pretty fluid, and I'm been very impressed with how this plays out. So I'm really excited for the future of Pokemon Unite Mobile. Again, I think that it's going to be really great, but the fact that you can drag and move, like I could not place a Rock Tomb that efficiently on the Nintendo Switch. Like, it's that simple. And if I actually go to my settings and I turn off cooldown, I would not be able to place Rock Tombs this efficiently if I was playing. I definitely have to switch my Wi-Fi. I figured that out really quick. But I would not be able to place Rock Tombs this efficiently, I think. How quick that is. And then if you want to cancel, you just drag it. You just want to drag it all the way to the top. So if I want to cancel, you just drag it all the way up. So you'll know the cancel button is going to always be in the same spot. So that's really clutch as well. But again, I would not be able to be this efficient with Rock Tombs and being able to just say, okay, I want to throw it right there and then kind of push them this way. I feel like that's going to change the game for mobile. So a couple settings for you to play around with, but ultimately I think you guys probably got the gist of it. Hopefully this setting guide helps you get ready to rock for Pokemon Unite and the mobile version. If you have any questions or anything, leave them in the comment section below, and be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. That's gonna be it for me, guys. My name is Dan. I also go by aDrive, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.